against Donald Trump's divisive immigration policy are expected across the U.S. later. Some previous protests turned ugly, with government staff tasked with finding and deporting illegal immigrants facing threats and violence. In one city, police even refused to help. Let's get details now from the U.S. and Samira Khan. Hi, Samira. Break down then how it came to the scenes that we've been witnessing.
Well, imagine if you were just going about your day, trying to do your job, and you were confronted by a bunch of protesters who appeared to be threatening. What would you do? Well, you'd call the police, I'm assuming. But what if you were ignored because of the reputation of the agency you work for? Now, if you're a U.S. citizen, this could be claimed as a violation of the Constitution. And apparently, this is what's happening to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, employees in Portland, Oregon. Now, ICE, an agency tasked with cracking down on illegal immigration, has accused the mayor of Portland of violating the Constitution by not allowing police to interfere with an anti-ICE protest. For about a month until July 25th, activists were preventing ICE employees from going in and out of their building, protesting against the Trump administration's policies towards illegal immigrants. But anti-ICE sentiment is widespread. Protesters across the country have denounced the agency, making some very interesting comparisons.
ICE is the modern-day American Gestapo.
No more ICE!
We cannot stand by immoral or unjust agencies.
Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Shut down ICE! Shut down ICE!
When ICE called the police, anti-Trump mayor and police commissioner Ted Wheeler refused, saying his officers would not bail out ICE. Now, here's how he explained his stance.
In this case, I've consistently stated that I do not want the Portland Police Bureau engaged in securing federal property that houses a federal agency with its own federal police force.
ICE accused the mayor of creating a, quote, zone of terror and lawlessness. But this conflict between Wheeler and the Trump administration has been going on for months now. In January, Attorney General Jeff Sessions ordered sanctuary cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, Portland, etc. to comply with enforcement efforts. Now, these cities refused, with Wheeler calling it one of the most disappointing actions he's ever seen from the White House. But protests against ICE have sprouted nationwide, and anti-ICE sentiment has trickled up to affect Trump officials, even Press Secretary Sarah Sanders and Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen.
Many by now have heard that I was asked to leave a restaurant this weekend where I attempted to have dinner with my family. My husband and I politely left and went home. I was asked to leave because I work for President Trump.
Shame! 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 If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace! If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace!
This latest case shows that the U.S. is growing more and more polarized, and it's not just limited to protesters. We're now witnessing disagreement between the federal government and the state government, which could potentially have very severe repercussions.
RT Samira Khan breaking down that story for us. Samira, thank you very much. Well, let's try and go a little bit deeper now with Anthony Bryan Logan, a blogger who writes on political and social issues and is always welcome to the programme. How are you doing, Anthony? Is this the thin end of the wedge here? Are we going to see more confrontation between local authorities and the federal government, do you think?
I think you will see more confrontations like this. This is not anything new. This has been going on for a little while, ever since Trump got elected. And these people are totally irrational, and they're driven largely by the mainstream media, because all the media talks about over here in the States is ICE is evil, ICE is corrupt, the family separation must stop. So regular everyday people, they're on their phone all day, they're getting upset, they're getting triggered. And they go out there and do these things largely because they're being programmed to do so. So as long as the mainstream media is complicit in this, you'll continue to see more things like this, unfortunately.
I'm no legal expert, but I would have thought that the Portland mayor's instruction to police in that city to not protect ICE employees is in breach of the Constitution, or no?
Oh, yes, it is. 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. Every person has that right as a U.S. citizen. So they're breaking the law. They're breaking the Constitution, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I heard the guy, Tate Wheeler, the mayor, talk about, well, it's a federal place. You know, they have their own federal police. Well, the case in which they're talking about is just two random ICE agents walking and they're being harassed by protesters. The local police should put a muzzle on the protesting rather than making the federal government come in and then put boots on the ground. I think the regular police would be a much better alternative than having the federal police come in and try to patrol the streets.
Just how united, put it in context for us, Anthony, just how united is the United States right now? Especially as President Trump, we're continuing to see him unapologetically push through divisive policies, don't we?
I think that the United States is much more united than it would seem if you just watch the media, if you're not over here. Just, you know, every day walking outside is not really a big deal. You see these protests, you have a small minority of people that have very loud voices because the voices get amplified by the media. Now, these small groups of people can do big harm because let's say you have a city of, I don't know, 1 million people and you have 100 people blocking the ICE office. That's a very small population of people, but it can create a lot of damage. The rest of the average everyday person is not even really politically driven and motivated. They're just trying to go to work and take care of their family and their children.